Hi everyone, welcome. It's Anahata. How are you? You are tuned in right now, and we are going to go on a 2-hour journey together right here in this live stream. Hey Rebecca, how are you? So guys, as everyone joins this sacred group from all around the world, go ahead and introduce yourself. Where are you calling in from? Where are you tuning in from? Now, we're going to have people coming in and out of this sacred group. And of course, we just started, so I'm not going to jump in right away. We're going to just introduce ourselves first. Now, you will need a pad of paper or something to type on as we go through these exercises. This is the Microdose Your Magic, Discover Your Magic live event that you're tuning in with me, Anahata, your host, your Sherpa. And I'm sort of a gift doula. I'm going to help you to remember how you cultivate your magic, what you're here for. And then perhaps most importantly, how to package that in a way that is received in the third dimension, right? As light workers, way showers, we are visionaries. We are healers. We are here in service. And so we innately have a big, broad vision for the world. And sometimes it gets lost in translation. And so today, as you're joining me, something that you're going to get very familiar with throughout our journey today is the concept of microdosing, okay? We need to get our magic in little bite-sized chunks. I call them doses, so that you can deliver that to those you serve in a way that they can receive it. Because here's the thing, if you're overwhelmed, they're overwhelmed, and if they're overwhelmed, they don't succeed. So, hi Pat, hi Rebecca. So glad you guys are here and everyone else joining. Go ahead and just tell us where you are calling in, where you are tuning in from around the globe. And I'm gonna meanwhile see if this works while I'm on my computer talking to you. Technology is interesting, right? I've never done it this way. I want to see first of all if I can add these awesome people requesting to come into the group real quick, and then we'll get going. So just introduce yourself. Where are you calling in from in the world right now? Go ahead and put it right in the chat. We are going to set the sacred space. We're just going to give a few more minutes to let people arrive into this event. And let's see here. I'm going to go to the event page and be sure that we're streaming. All right, more and more of you are joining. Yeah, it looks like we're going. Okay, good. So yeah, let me know where you are calling in from. And oh, I see it here. I don't see it on my screen. Awesome. So this is great, guys. Now I'm getting it here. All right, so technology, you will go through this as well. So yes, Texas, Portugal. We have other comments going by. I'll see the comments as I can see them. And we'll just continue on that way. So a few things I want to mention as we get going is that this is 2 hours long and that you are going to be given breaks. I have this beautiful timer here that we're going to give you some breaks, not only to digest the information I'm giving you, but to get up and stretch for just a split second as we come back together, just like a normal workshop. The second thing I want to mention is if technology fails us and we lose connection, just come right back into the Microdose Masterclass Discover Your Magic event page, and I will start another video, okay? Also, I have 2 dogs and a daughter. So if she comes in, you know, she's 10, it is what it is. And if my dogs start barking, likewise, we're just gonna, you know, shift and go with that. I just wanted to give you some sort of idea of where I'm calling in from, etc. So today is going to be extremely clarifying for you and your magic. I'm going to give you bite-sized doses of information that are meant to help you discover develop, and deploy your especially pure magic. Now, my goal for you is to eventually set up your Bliss Biz. This is working where you want, when you want, for whom you want, and for those that love it. And with technology these days, we are able to reach anyone, anywhere. And so what I want to first introduce to you is that if we aren't using technology, someone else is. And that the online coaching and e-learning segment, business-wise, is one that is $100 billion. And it's going to $245 billion quickly, and in part due to the catastrophes happening in the globe, forcing us to be more and more digital versus live. But that's a whole different segment. So let's go ahead, and now that we're all here and we're joining in, I see more and more people joining. That's awesome. And again, if you're ever having any issues tuning in, just come back to the page. Let's go ahead and set the sacred space for our journey together, okay? So what I'd like you to do is just end distractions around you and begin to center in your heart space. And just focus now on your breathing. And I want you to just be and sit with yourself in this space-time as you are. And I want you to become aware of your consciousness that is outside of your identity. And I just want you to observe yourself in this moment and allow anything that arises to arise and fall away. And while focusing on your heart space, I just want to invite you to expand mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually into the farthest reaches of who you are. Who are you? What did you come here to birth? And today we are, through our conscious awareness and focus and intention, going to align with that fullness. We're going to shift. We are going to expand our wisdom, our curiosity, and tap into our magic. We are going to clarify. We're going to give permission. And we're going to simplify the ingredients of what it is you came here to deliver so that it can be received and so that it can transform people's lives. That's what you came here for. Expansion, evolution, transformation, creation. And so with this united intention, we also acknowledge everyone in the tribe, everyone who is in this group now and watching in replay, once it is in replay. And the unification of our mission, of our joint mission to improve the world. And honoring all the magic within each of us, wherever we are in the world, whatever phase we are in. We may have a thriving business already. We may have no clue what it is or what it looks like yet. Wherever we are, we acknowledge the potential and the potency. And with a grateful heart for having magnetized this information, we set the sacred space and prepare for the divine downloads which will be received during this transmission. Deep breath. It is so. All right, guys, go ahead and open your eyes. And yes, introduce yourself, continue to introduce where you're calling in from as people come in and out of the transmission. And so I want to start today by just letting you know who I am very quickly, okay? Some of you have just discovered me. Many of you have been with me for years and years now. 6 years ago, I was laid off of my corporate America job, and I was working very, very hard to get, stable and climbing up that ladder, so to speak. And I hit a glass ceiling because I didn't have my master's degree, but I was commanding that salary. And unfortunately, the company that I was working for, a wonderful company, was doing layoffs. And I, saw many dozens of my friends and coworkers and people that I considered close friends being laid off. And I began to sort of think, oh, wow, this is not what I planned or could envision for where I was headed. And eventually there was only three or four of us in my department, and it came my time and they had to let me go. And so I was receiving unemployment, but at the same time, 2 years prior to being laid off, my heart and soul weren't so much in the corporate space anymore. I was processing my emotional energy layers and healing some traumas that I had from an abusive relationship. I had a marriage that was 10 years and it ended in a restraining order, permanent restraining order. And so I was dealing with a lot of stuff 2 years before my layoff. And so, my path with the way my trajectory was going was I was healing myself. And as I was doing that, my heart was growing into a space of being a healer and being a light worker and wanting people to experience the joy that I was feeling through that release, through that expansion, through that coming into a space of true love of self and beyond your identity and releasing the ego, etc., right? And energy medicine came into my world, and crystals and all sorts of fun stuff. And so I became sort of unaligned with where I was professionally. And so when I finally was laid off 2 years after this journey began, it wasn't a surprise, but I was faced with an urgency, right? To either go back to the 9 to 5 working for someone else, or to start birthing my medicine, my magic. And it was extremely scary because there was a timeline. It was like, today you need to do this. And so although I was a marketer for almost 20 years, I was never in the business of selling an experience. I was always in the business of providing an actual product. And so they're very different, very different. And so I set about discovering how to articulate my magic in a way that could be received. And it's been an ongoing journey. If you know anything about me way back when, as I was discovering my gifts and receiving divine information, oftentimes there were very, very scientifically, expansive definitions and ideas and things where people would be like, whoa, I don't really understand what you're saying. And so it was a learning lesson to be able to take my magic and microdose it. And I see this happen again and again for light workers all around the world. They have a potent magic medicine and they want to share it. And they want to get out there. And they feel like if only everyone knew what they had to offer, they would receive it with open arms. But it's almost like they can't hear you, right? And that's simply because as human beings, we have an extremely small bandwidth beyond our norm. About 90% is running on default. And so you can imagine with the overwhelm of information coming at us all day long, every day, we have to be very selective about what it is we let into our conscious awareness. And this is why, in order to succeed, you have to be able to reach your clients where they are, not where you want them to be. There's a huge difference. So this means understanding their actual pain points, their yearning, their desires, their aspirations, not where you know they could be, because they aren't anywhere near that to be able to hear it, okay? So this is something I'm going to teach you today as we hone in on your potent purpose and your magic. And so my story is now, I received the divine download in April of 2015 that we are connected to all things. innately. And that because we are connected to all things, we have access to it without having to have it physically with us. Okay, this is energy at its finest. And there is a portal actually in your heart chakra and at the center of every cell that connects you. And it's very illusionary that we are walking around in our bodies, and it's either internal or external. This is all an illusion. We are all actually one. You've heard of Rumi, the poet. He says, you are not a drop of water in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. And that is partly what came through to me just 6 weeks ago with the fractal information system, which I'm going to teach you. And that is that we have the entire complexity of everything in every cell. It's a fractal. We can zoom in and get as complex as we want. But we also must zoom out to really simplify and microdose our magic. And potentially it's the difference between your success and failure as a business owner. Now, again, you may already have a following and you're trying to reach more people, or you haven't even begun, but given the state of the world and the uncertainties, that you'd rather and would be more fulfilled if you were calling the shots and creating your own economy. But how to do that, you may ask. Well, that's why you're here, in part, because you have something within you that wants to be shared to improve the world, and you just need the system to figure out how to deliver that. And we're going to do that together today. So I like to package it all in the story or identity of magic, because I'm a magical person. The codes are magic. And so everything's going to be related in that way. And what I want to do, my strategy is a transformation potion. And so I want you to put yourself in my shoes, your shoes, our shoes, as we go through this, in terms of the components that make up your magical elixir. Okay, so you can imagine a glass or some kind of container, and that is you. That's your essence, right? Now, if you're trying to convince someone that they should drink your magic, that they should have your magic, that is called upstream marketing. So the first thing I want to teach you today can be the difference between your failure and your success. And that is, again, that you can't tell someone what they don't know that they need to know, because they don't know it and they have a small bandwidth. They're not going to pay attention. So this is why I'm going to get very specific right away. This is why I see like emotion code practitioners, Reiki practitioners, Feng Shui practitioners, anyone who's doing any sort of healing work, soul regression and inner child work, those types of light workers, they all miss, any of the clairs, they all miss the mark by trying to teach their people, their clients, what they need to know in order to find their value. And that's called upstream marketing. It's not going to work because people have a small bandwidth. They're tuning you out. And so today we're going to go through exercises, and I'm going to give you time to do it. We're going to set a timer, and we're going to get very clear on what your micro niche is. So this is who you serve and the problem you solve, and we're going to get in touch with what they need in order to be able to hear you. And then we're going to define what I call a portal product. Okay, this is the way that you're going to microdose your magic into an offering that's very simple and clear for them to understand. Now I'm going to just tell you quickly what a portal product is, and I'll tell you several times throughout our time today. A portal product is a low-priced, high-valued digital offering that's an impulse buy that delivers exactly what the person needs for very little investment, and they're like, wow, it's, why not? I'll try it. It's exactly what I've been looking for. And I call it a portal product because it's a gateway to deeper programs with you. If you're in sales at all, and if you're not, that's okay. This is the funnel, but it's in a different way, because a lot of times the current methods out there for funnel, it's very salesy. We are beyond that because we're light workers. We could be happy as clams one-on-one. But unfortunately, time is a limiter in the 3D. We have length, width, and height, and we have time as a parameter. So we can't reach the amount of people that we want to transform in the ways that we want to unless we start leveraging technology, okay? And this means one-to-many. And this means fractalizing your magic out. And this means making use of the technology that's available. And so we are going to define your portal product today. A low-priced, high-value offering that's digital, that's on demand, that you don't have to facilitate personally, that is going to introduce someone to your magic by meeting them where they are with the needs that they have. You're going to answer the pain they have or provide the desire that they want and need. And then it's going to grow with you into more engagement. And so there are 3 levels. You can write this down, and today we're talking about the first level only. It's microdose, mini dose, and megadose. Okay? So there is no way in heck you can just go out there and say, hey y'all, I have a $6,000 program. You want to work with me 6 months? Let's do it. No. People don't know that they need you, and in fact the price tag will just repel them completely. They'll be like, see you later. I don't know who you think you are, right? That doesn't work. You have to illustrate and provide real results in very small pieces for them to understand your value, for them to want to work with you, for them to then go from a microdose to a mini dose to a megadose. That's the only way it's going to work. Okay, you have to build that funnel. You have to build that trust. You have to build those relationships. You have to build a tribe that can't wait to hear what you're going to say next. And you do that through the portal product that I'm going to help you with today. So your job then during this portal product definition is to create bite-sized portions of your magic, which we're going to figure out together. What is my magic? What do I have to offer? And to deliver it in meaningful ways that solve problems quickly. And it's information-based. It's easily digestible. They get it. They don't have to think, should I spend $25 on this to get the answers to what I need? They will say, absolutely, right? It's an impulse buy. And then they will be delighted to find all the answers that they were looking for and be invited for more, for a deeper engagement with you, okay? My camera just went a little bit duller and I was making sure everything's okay. All right, so that's what we're gonna focus on today, is defining what your magic is, who is it for, and what's the problem it solves, so that we can define it. We're gonna lay out what that would look like for your portal product, knowing that there are, from your portal products, mini doses, which are more like master classes. And these ones range from the high 200s to under 800-ish, right? And those are, longer periods of engagement with more value. And then the high end, the megadose coaching opportunities with you as you funnel through those that are wanting your portal product and your masterclass mini doses into your biggest program, which is usually a 6-month to a year immersion with you personally. And this is where you can service both one-on-one. I hear this a lot. People say, but I love to do one-on-ones. You can do one-on-ones, absolutely. But what you can't do is one-on-one-on-one-on-ones and try and fill your 40-hour schedule work week with 40 one-on-ones. There's not enough time for that if you've done the math. This is where I think they don't give you the full information when you become certified in whatever modality it is. That business model does not work. You cannot work by the hour, and you cannot work one-on-one on one-on-one, especially if the transformation you provide your client heals them, right? I provide solutions. So if I do a good job, people are quote unquote cured and they go on about their business. And so it's not an efficient or productive business model for me to be doing one-on-one on one-on-ones, because I will never be able to reach that amount of people per week and complete those transformations in that limited way. I've got to fractalize out one-to-many And in fact, I'm going to be describing my new portal products with the Anahata codes as we go through this as an example. Okay? So I'm going to give you tactics today to actually get this all done. So I'm going to frame it. We're going to have a mindset melding. You're going to understand what it is I'm trying to do for you. I'm going to give you strategies, and I'm going to give you tactics. So I want you to write that down. You are going to need to provide your clients, your ideal clients, with a mindset within your product, a strategy, and tactics. This is thinking, doing, being, right? And guess what? It can be, all of it can be information. That's it. The transformation is what they do with the information. But as long as you do a good job as a framer, framing the concept of what it is you're delivering, you give them a strategy to do it, and then you give them actual tactics to put that wisdom into action, you've done your job. So again, your portal product should have those three components. It should include mindset and motivation and learning and clarity. It should include strategies so that they can actually take the information you give them and put it to use. And you do that through tactics. So you're going to be framing their pain into desire with the solutions you provide within that context. So I hope that makes sense. And so let's go ahead and get going with the first portion of today. And we're going to do a quick exercise and then we'll take a break. And that is just to reiterate the fact that you are here to expand the fabric of the universe. If you didn't realize that, that's what we're doing here, right? We are sifting and sorting and learning, and we are creators. We are here to offer our unique vibration to the world in order for evolution and expansion. And you'll know that you're tapping into that when you're excited about what you're doing, when you have passion for it, right? So it's very important to understand that you get to choose what you do, who you work with, what it is you're offering, okay? It doesn't have to be based on your training either. We're going to get into that in just a second. But if you're here with me, most likely you have a similar story, because our mess is our magic. What we've been through magnetizes those that we're going to work with. So it's an important part of your inventory of magic to understand, what have I gone through personally? Okay, we're going to make a list here in a little bit. But you probably, because you're here, have a bigger vision for yourself. You probably have motivation to grow beyond your own pain. You probably have a desire to then support people in also finding that solution through you, through lighting the way. And boy, does the world need you. Today, more than ever, with all the crazy stuff happening, the world needs you and your magic. And here's something that I really want you to digest. You have to step outside your comfort zone in order to make that happen. You know what you know, and you have your known world around you. You're not where you want to be, or you'd be there, right? The you that you envision inside of your Bliss Biz, you're not quite there yet. And the only way you're ever going to get there is by continuing to expand your comfort zone. You've got to ride the edge of that comfort level and challenge yourself to move past your insecurities, your fears, because you can flip that into motivation, because fear and excitement are actually on the same vibrational bandwidth. If you feel like, let's say you're really fearful and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. That's a denser, erratic vibration that can easily be shifted into excitement based on how you're perceiving it. Okay, so we are alchemists. And if we can tap into where we've been and where we want to go and expand to our comfort level and then past it, we are going to get results. And so I like to say, put yourself in situations of controlled chaos. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to expand into where you want to go. You've got to experience new things in order to get there. And the key here is microdose it. Don't do it all at once. Just do little teeny baby steps that keep you engaged, motivated, at the edge of your comfort zone. If you've never done a Facebook Live, don't do a 2-hour. Go on and do a 1 minute, right? Challenge yourself to do tiny little, small things that challenge you, and those will add up over time into your dharma, into what you came here to birth. But practice makes practice, right? You're never going to be perfect. You're just going to practice and then be more able to handle whatever comes to you. So if you're done wasting time, that's the other part. I felt when I wasn't living my fullness that I was wasting my time. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm meant for more than this, and here I am in this cubicle. And it wasn't soul fulfilling, right? The company was doing good work. It was wind power, right? Renewables. I was like, yes, I can get behind that. But I felt I wasn't living up to my full potential. And guys, once you've imagined where you want to go and you feel into where you are, that gap can be very painful. But you can also just unify that gap when you honor the now moment. So you're here for a reason. Sinking into this now moment and being totally aware and accepting of where you are and excited for where you're going versus fearful, knowing that it's going to take expansion past that comfort zone is going to help you. And I'm just giving you more mindset information so that you can really go after your magic and deliver it. So you want a solid path forward, most likely as well. Why? Because that's where I was. And again, guys, I'm describing where you most likely are because it's where I was. And so one big takeaway from all of this is, as you lead, you only need to understand where you've been to provide value. It doesn't have to be book smarts. It doesn't have to be certificates and titles, and all of that, and degrees. It can just be where you've been and explaining that. And there's always someone who's not quite to where you are that wants to know, hey, how'd you get there? And guys, as I started doing the Anahata codes and people started coming to me through my masterclass program at anahatamastery.com, I started realizing, holy cow, these people are so talented, right? I have 26 certified Anahata code practitioners and about 50 in training all around the world. And these people would come to me and explain in my interview process, their skills and the things that they know about and what they have to offer. And I was just blown away at the vast depth of it all and how amazing they were. And yet I was like, wow, they're working one-on-one. And they aren't leveraging the one-to-many approach that technology gives us. And so it became my quest to say, guys, there's an easier path. So now my magnetism is a solid path forward for people who are like, look, I don't get all this technical stuff. I'm not in sales. That's not what I'm here to do. I just want to share my magic. How do I do that in the most efficient, effective way possible? Right? Cut to the chase. And that's partially why you magnetize my information, because you want to make a difference in the world and get on with it. Now, I call it a heartpreneur, meaning it's heart-centered. You would do what you want, what you have a desire to do for free. Absolutely. Right? But you might as well receive in exchange for it because it's that expansive. And in fact, we need that in the 3D world. A lot of healers and light workers and way showers get in their martyrdom storyline where they almost feel like it's wrong to make money in exchange for what they're doing because they would do it for free. This is a huge limiter. Money is just a transparent unit of exchange. And when you think of it in that way, the stuff that you're offering and the transformation that you're offering is worth a whole heck of a lot more than you may think it is, given the 9 to 5 parameters that people have placed on our psyches. It's brainwashing, folks. We don't need to go to work 9 to 5 and struggle away. That old adage, what was it? Put in an honest day's work or something. That was brainwashed from people who aren't working at all, right? The elite who are like, yes, please, slaves, keep working 9 to 5 and keep everything going. Thank you. That's not reality. The more you work is not the more you receive. That doesn't make any sense. It's actually opposite. If you look at the real world, all the billionaires, and see what they do on a daily basis, very rare that they're working as hard as the people that are working 4 jobs, for example. So again, getting outside that zone of brainwashing that we've been led to accept as healers, that it should be free, you shouldn't be charging, is a limitation. It's a limiting story. And if you don't deliver your gifts in a way that gets people engaged and it's an exchange, then it's not going to work. They're not going to have any skin in the game, so to speak, right? So you can offer free and valuable information, but it needs to funnel into more deeper value at a higher investment price on your end. And I'm going to teach you more about that in a little bit. So we've covered who you are, we've covered who I am, why you're here, and how it mirrors, right? So think about why your journey, okay? And that's the first exercise that I want to do, which is tapping into your mess, so to speak. And I'm gonna give you a 5-minute timer here in a second, and then we're gonna take a quick break. But what I want you to do for this framer, for this 5 minutes of magic, is to, without thought about anything other than what I'm asking you, right? We don't want to disqualify anything because we don't think that people would be interested in that. We are not ranking anything right now. All we are doing is making a list of every difficult situation that we've ever been through, okay? And I don't want you to marinate in it. This is not therapy. We're not like, how does it make you feel? We're not doing that right now. We are coming outside of, we are the consciousness observing the identity that's you in this body, in this lifetime. And you get to now write out all of these beautiful gifts. And I'll tell you why they're gifts. They are gifts because they uniquely qualify you to lead someone else through it, if you so choose that path. You have wisdom about your mess, even if you're still going through it. Right? Even if it's happening to you now, you have wisdom to share. So I have news for you. You don't have to be in the perfect relationship to be a relationship coach. You don't have to have a wholly healed and thriving body to be a healer. You don't have to wait to birth your magic, because you're going to then be outside of that actual energetic dynamic. And part of your magnetism is the real rawness that you offer, because people know that you've gone through it and are going through it. So let's make a running list very quickly. And I'm going to give a timer. And you're just going to write down, without being involved emotionally in all of the dynamics, an ongoing list of the things in your life that have been difficult, that you've either overcome or are still going through, okay? We are gonna start now. All right, make a list. Again, don't judge anything beyond writing down what it is you went through. And again, observe the observer. We don't want to get wrapped up in the emotional components of what it was and how it made me feel and why it was so terrible. That's not what we're doing, okay? So go ahead and do that. I'm, meanwhile, going to look, I'll be quiet and let you do that. I'm going to answer some comments here. So if you're just tuning in, we encourage you to write out a list of everything you can think of that you've been through in your life that has been challenging in some way, some obstacle or experience. I call it your mess, and it's part of your magic. So we're just gonna make a list right now, a couple more minutes left, of all the things you've gone through. Okay, we're coming down to maybe 60 seconds left, and I think this is actually a 3-minute timer, which is good because 5 minutes may be a little too long, but I want to give you enough time to get a nice long list going. Okay, a couple more seconds here. Okay, finish up. And time. All right, guys. So the point here is that your magic is your mess. Part of what you came here to experience are obstacles that you find solutions for and that you move into awareness of a straight path or even a windy one that you can then articulate for people, and they can go, oh, wow, right? You light the way. You're a light bearer. You're a compassionate light bearer because you've been through it. So that's one way to cultivate your magic. And the point of all this is we're going to make a list of all the things that you know about, that you're curious about, and that you've been through. So we've just gone through the one piece of the triad of your magic, and that is your mess. So we're going to leave that be for now. We're going to shift into the next phase of your magic, which is, and actually I want to point something out real quickly that I did a second ago, but I don't know if you really caught it in the way that I want you to, is that most of us let that type of magic, which is our mess, prevent us from moving forward because we think for some reason we're not experts. I mean, it's brainwashing, but we think, well, who am I? I've just experienced it, right? So what qualifies me to lead people through it? The experience does, right? So getting past that limiter and to understand it is magical and people do want that, and you don't have to have a certificate, license, a degree. You already have a PhD through life experience, right? And people can tell if you're authentic, if you've been through that or not. And so getting past that limiter, thinking that you're not ready yet to teach that because you're still in it, is just a limiter. And you'll notice very effective coaches really succeeding, and they're still in that quote unquote mess. So your mess is your magic. You are ready now. What you've been through or what you're going through uniquely qualifies you, okay? So moving into the next list that we're going to take a few minutes to write out is the second way that your magic is cultivated, and that is through wisdom. And so this is literally learning and going through a process of certification, a degree. So when I was just saying you don't have to have those, a lot of us do. And so we need to list that out. These are things that we've worked hard for in some way, that we've pursued some sort of status or expertise around. And so it absolutely should be woven into what you do. So I'm gonna set the timer again, and I want you all to go ahead and write down a list of everything that you have learned about, that you feel like you have a pretty good understanding of. It can be a certificate, it can be a degree. It doesn't have to be anything more than a course you took. But what do you know about? Okay, so let's go ahead and get that going. So your magic is cultivated through wisdom. What do you know? Write it out and go. And if you're just joining us, we are writing out a list very quickly with a timer going of everything you know about. So these are topics, things that you know about, classes you've taken, courses you're certified in, any sort of expertise you have through learning. Okay, write those out. And this one maybe we'll go halfway because I don't think we need all that time, pardon me, to list out, you know, some of you have a lot of wisdom, but this list should be shorter than the mess list that we just listed. So, alrighty. Go ahead and wrap up. So now you've added to your options. And this is again a list of how you cultivate your magic. So far we've gone through your life obstacles and experiences, the things you've overcome and or are going through right now. Your mess is your magic, and your wisdom is your magic. The things you understand, have learned about, have certificates or degrees or some sort of expertise in is your magic, okay? Now both of these, the limiters that I was mentioning and not birthing your magic is thinking that you're not done yet or you're not qualified, okay? So that is just a self-sabotaging belief because you're never going to be done. You are an expansive being. You're a creator. You are here to sift and sort and learn and grow and solve, right? And expand the fabric. So if you wait until you're quote unquote ready, someone else is just going to do it. As I said, it's $100 million, billion, sorry, with a B, $100 billion industry. E-learning, coaching, online learning is set to go to $240 billion. And so if you don't do it, someone else will. And you might as well learn how to package your magic and deliver it to people who need it. If you truly want to make a difference in the world, we've got to leverage technology. So let's move ahead into the third tier, the triad of the way that you cultivate your magic. And it is through your curiosity. Okay, this is my favorite aspect. This is totally me. And because it's me, it's probably many of you. Because again, you magnetize mirrors based on what your magic's for. And so one of the things with me is I'm just so inspired and filled with awe about everything. I want to learn more. I'm curious about this and that and the other. And my curiosity sort of can't keep up with, used to not be able to keep up with my magic, right? I knew so much. I wanted to do so much. And as soon as I was on to I would sort of get bored, right? I'd be like, here's this, but ooh, I want to do that. And so it was an obstacle I had to figure out was how can I basically automate my curiosity in a way that allows me to deliver potent information quickly and with very little effort and set that up on demand, right? Using technology so that people can partake of it as they come into contact with it. But I can also just move on into other areas that are of interest to me, that I'm curious about. And so my approach is, if you follow the model that I have to teach, you actually get paid as you go. You get paid to explore. Because your job as a way shower, as a light worker, is just to shed light on something and to provide value based around the information that you're giving someone. So your magic is very non-linear, and this is where people can get tripped up. They think that once they choose something, they have to stay there forever, and that they can't switch. It's their destiny. They're waiting for their big aha, right? Their big mind-blowing contribution. And that's not the way ingenuity works. Ingenuity is agile. It's agile. It layers. It's non-linear. It's expanding. And so you've got to learn to be agile in the moment and to take your potent magic of the now, frame it in a way that can be used, and move on into other explorations. And so if this intrigues you and you follow this path, it's going to be so rewarding, because this is literally what I do. I determine something interests me, I take it, I discover, I expand, I distill it into microdose pieces of information, I package it, and I put it online. I do. And a lot of people come to me and go, holy cow, you've got like 30 or 40 classes. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Because whenever I come across something that intrigues me, I digest it, I create a framework around it involving a mindset, a strategy, and a tactic, and I set it up online and I deliver it. And people can come, partake of it, however they're magnetized to it. This is the beauty of portal products. Okay, so I'm going to just take a second now. We can use the timer. I want you to think about now adding to your list of mess, things you've been through, things you're going through, of knowing, of wisdom, the stuff you know about. We're branching into the third component now for about 2 to 3 minutes. A running list now of things you're curious about, that you don't know a lot about, but that you want to know about, that you've always been sort of intrigued by, right? These are topics, okay? Here we go. Starting now for a few minutes, let's go ahead and just type those out, write those out. We are getting to the final pieces of our list of our magic and the ways that you cultivate it. And if you're just joining us, go ahead and take out a piece of paper and just jot down the things that you've always been curious about, the subjects, the topics. And if you're done with your list and you need to take a break, go do so. We have about an hour and 5 minutes left together today. So we'll let the timer run out completely. So you can either wrap up your list or and take a break for just about 2 minutes, okay? Come right back. The next part you don't want to miss, but I want to also acknowledge if you need to stand up, move around, get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do for about 2 or 3 more minutes. Let's see, yep, so 2 or 3 more minutes to finish up your lists and take a quick break. I'll see if anyone's chatting with me in the live feed. For some reason, it's not so live for me. I can't really see the comments coming in live. So there you go. Or maybe you aren't, maybe you're busy, you're not commenting, and that's fine. Oh, good. I'm so glad we have people from Canada, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Colorado in the house. I love Colorado. And so yes, go ahead and chat and introduce yourself if you're just joining. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Glad to have you here. We just got done with our lists, and we're taking a break now for just about 1 more minute, a minute and a half. And you may have already done this, but if not, you can take a couple moments to just freeform, write down or type out anything you've gone through. So life experiences that were challenges, anything you have been curious about, so topics that interest you, that you don't know much about, and then anything that you do know quite a bit about, because those three facets of curiosity, wisdom, and mess are what combine into your magic. And you don't have to be an expert yet, or you can be. You don't have to be through the mess, or you can be, right? And so we're just doing an ongoing list. And so the timer has run out. We will give maybe 30 more seconds for people to come back from wherever they are. And we'll get going with the next portion, which is making use of the list. Okie dokie. Yeah, there seems to be an intense lag between my live video and what I see in the group. So I'm not sure what you're seeing, but I'm praying that it's all working properly. Technology is interesting, for sure. Okay. Courtney says, we are working, not chatting. Good, I'm glad you're working. It's true. All right, guys, cool. So we're wrapped up. We have our lists. We understand the limiters that we've placed on our path that tell us we're not ready, that what we have to offer some way needs to have a certificate or a PhD, or we have to be an expert 20 years before we can do it. Or the limiter that, because we haven't sorted it out fully, who are we to teach it? And the other limiter, it can't keep up with me. You know, I'm so curious, I want to learn this and that and the other. I don't have time to then package it and give it to someone else. These are all limitations that I want you to visualize in a ball and just let it go, because they're not true. Your truth is your truth, and it will be true for you. Do you want it to be true, right? This is just basic belief processing that I want to touch on for 2 seconds, part of the mindset that I give you into your potent purpose, your magic, and your bliss biz. And that is, you can believe whatever you want to believe, because it's just a thought that you keep thinking. But thoughts actually do become, right? Everything in the world was first a thought. Everything. The all is mental, if you're into the Kabbalion. And so mental structures of energy and intention, they are electric. And then combine that with meaning, which is emotion, and you get the electromagnetic energy field, which is magnetism, which draws to you, this is like law of attraction, the things that you're emitting. And so your beliefs are your beliefs, and they are true because you believe they are, and that reality is shown to you. And so you just have to ask yourself quite simply, it's true, but do I want it to be? And so if you feel like, who am I? I don't have anything to give. You're right. If you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, do you want to keep thinking that? And I can empower you to go ahead and say, no, that's no longer my storyline. That's not what I'm magnetizing. I'm going to go ahead and step beyond my comfort zone. Remember at the beginning I was talking about living on the edge, that bubble of expansion. You've got to experience the unknown in order for the newness that you want to actually enter your life into the 3D. So controlled chaos is what I was talking about earlier too. Put yourself in situations that challenge you in order to get to where you want to go, and be consistent. Consistently do that. So let's make use of this list now. And welcome back, those of you who are just getting back. I just went on a sort of rant about beliefs, but it's all good. We are back in the swing of things. We're going to make use of our lists now, okay? And we're going to rank the potential. So we did an unfiltered list. We weren't ranking the viability or the market potential or how much you loved it, or we were just making a long laundry list. What I want you to do now, without getting too technical, we don't have time to assign points potentially, but I want you to make a quick sweep of that list, and we're going to do so based on a few parameters, okay? Because it's not enough to be good at something. You have to also be in demand. And it's not enough to be in demand, you also have to want to do it. So there's a perfect storm of synergistic energy that has to come into alignment for it to be worth your time, okay? So we're gonna go through, hey Pat, how are you? Glad you're here. We're gonna go through our list now, and we're going to rank. And to do so, we're gonna sweep through, and we're gonna star anything first that you feel is in high demand, that is needed, okay? Anything, so give a star on your list to anything that you feel is super relevant, that a lot of people would need information about that, okay? That's all I'm gonna have you do, is go sweeping through, starring only the things that seem like really viable, like a ton of people have that issue or are interested in that, okay? And this is just based on your own gut knowledge, heart, brain, you know, whatever you want to do, to just loosely go through and star, okay? Again, that's all we're doing, is it in demand? Potentially, okay? Are a lot of people struggling with it, or would this be a broad topic that a ton of people would want to know about? Okay, star it. Just give 1 star to everything that is in demand. Okay? So it is needed. That's what we're doing right now. It is needed. And your lists should be fairly long by now, given the 3 areas. And if you're just tuning in, no worries. We made a list of what we've gone through, what we know, and what we're curious about. And now we're beginning to rank the on-demand. So the things that are in demand, rather. Things that people would really find valuable. Again, we haven't come up with the answers yet. We're just ranking. All right. So if you've had enough time to do that, I think we've had enough time to do that. The second sweep we're going to do is we're going to give another star to anything on the list that you really enjoy. Now, there's 2 parts to this. You enjoy it because you enjoy teaching that, you enjoy that subject in some way. I take back the teaching part. You may have never taught it at all, and you may know nothing about it. But we're going to give a star to the things that bring us delight in some way. Okay, passion. It either stirs a passion within us, or we're passionate about sharing it. So go ahead and do that right now. So this is what you enjoy. Even if it's something you think you'll enjoy, give a star to anything that is higher than average on your enjoyment threshold. So topics that you know, because think about this, you may have gone through something terrible and you have a lot of medicine for it, but you don't want to be, it doesn't provide you passion, right? So no, that would not be a good fit for you. So we're giving a point to all the things that you're passionate about. Now, of course, some people are very passionate about things they've gone through because they feel like they have a solution, and that drives them, and it makes them feel, you know, really valuable in the world when they light that path for others and help people in that way. So it just depends where you're at. So a couple more seconds here. Again, this was a star for what you enjoy. So we've gone through what is needed, what you enjoy. Now we're going to sweep through the list one more time. And we're going to give a star to anything that you're good at. So this is just like, you know, you don't know why, but you're really good at talking about whatever, or facilitating whatever, or, you know, you have a confidence about it. So you're good at it. So we're gonna, and if you're still wrapping up the other ones, that's fine. We're sweeping through our list. We have given a star for what is in demand, a star for the things on the list that we really enjoy, that we're passionate about. And now we're sweeping through the list one more time to talk about what are we good at? We have some sort of talent around it. It just feels sort of effortless when we talk about it or work through whatever it is the topic is. And we have one more star to give, so a couple more seconds and we'll sweep through with our final star. Okay, so wrapping up, we're now going to take a final sweep with, do we want to be around the people who need that transformation? Okay, this is sort of huge. And don't worry, there's a workaround. If there's some topic that you've listed that has 3 stars right now, you're good at it, you're excited about it, and it's in demand, but you really don't enjoy being around the people who would need it, there is a workaround, and 3 out of 4 is still a pretty viable, potent topic for you, niche. So the Ikigai model is what we've been talking about. Good for you, good for the planet, and good for creator. Because when you have those 3 things with you and your magic, infused in your magic, you're going to have evolutionary energy flowing you in the path of least resistance. It's not going to just be about you, it's going to be about the planet. It's not going to just be about the planet, it's going to be about creator and progress and evolution. And so you're going to have a lot of divine forces of energy and allies with you when you can frame your magic within the Ikigai model. I-K-I-G-A-I. All right, so sweeping through now for the last minute of this exercise. Your 4th star. Do I enjoy being around the people who would need this transformation? The reason why I ask that, some of them you're like, well, yeah, of course. You know, I like to fly airplanes. I like to be with people who want to fly airplanes. Awesome. I like to help battered women. Do you want to be around battered women all the time? That's like what I'm asking you. You may have a lot of medicine for it, but do you want to surround yourself with people? So it's just a way of ranking, right? And again, you can absolutely do so in an empowered way. We're just trying to get points going so that you can land on one topic to pursue in the now. All right? So again, go through that. Do you enjoy working with the people who would want that topic? For example, with me, I empower people. However, I really do not enjoy being around people who are in victim mode. It's actually one of my biggest triggers. So that to me is not enjoyable when people are saying, woe is me, you know, things are happening to me when they're not in their power. I'm like, come on, you know? But anyway, so I would not star that, even though I'm good at empowering people. But that's not specifically the niche that I service. I hope that makes sense. You've got to know that you are a sovereign being and on the cusp of activating that to work with me, usually. I don't go for the disempowered by choice. Okay, so good. So wrap that up. And we have ranked. So just to recap, get you all on board and up to speed with where we've come so far on our path. We've talked about the ways you cultivate your magic and the fact that your ideal client is probably dealing with something, a combination of the things that you've gone through and learned from. and that your magic is cultivated through wisdom, learning things, experiencing things, your mess, and your curiosities, your wanting to explore and understand a topic. And that you don't have to be ready, that you're never going to be ready, that you got to dive in now and be agile, and that your potent magic is any combination of any of those, but that we should probably pursue the ones that are both good for you, good for the planet, and good for creator. And to do that, we've ranked our list with stars. And now some of those should have 3 to 4, right? They're things that that's needed in the world, right? It's in demand. You know, if you're like, man, I want to weave grass. That was just a random thought. That's cool, and I'm glad it brings you joy, but do people want to do that? You've got to go for the portal products that are in demand first. And then once you build your Bliss business, you can pursue other tiny, more niched desires, if you will. So again, you should now have a list with a few of them rising to the top. And so what I'd like you to do is now list in the chat your top 1 or 2 topics. Okay? Go ahead and list your top 1 or 2 topics in the chat now. And I'll give you a few seconds to do that, and then hopefully it'll come through online. Now, while you're doing that, while you're listing your top 1 or 2 in demand, enjoy, good at, you know, good for you, good for planet, good for creator, and you know, you enjoy being with those types of people as well. For me, the obvious ones are empowering people to cultivate their magic, right? To step into their sovereignty. I consider myself a gift doula. And if you look at what the codes are too, it's the same thing. People often ask why, you know, I have a coaching business that inspires people to do business, and then I have the Anahata codes, and how are those related? They're one thing, because I'm channeling the essence or magic of each thing and archiving them in a way that people can partake of that magic. That's what I do for you as well. And so I'm this gift doula, right? I look at the value and the gifts of everything, and I categorize them in a way that allows people to partake of them in the most efficient way possible. Codes or your Bliss Biz. So it's an interesting thing. I want to empower people into their fullness by celebrating the gifts that they have and by getting it to who needs it as efficiently as possible. And I do that with Anahata codes as well as your Bliss Biz. So I'm going to look and see if you guys have typed that in. Yeah, it's super laggy. So right now I'm still with the whole comments about thoughts becoming things and things like that. So that's fine. If you're watching this replay, type it in, and we'll see those over time as the system catches up. But okay, Zen Shine. I don't know if that's how you say Zen. It's got an S. You said you're not good at anything. And I just want to address that. You don't have to be good at it. So there you go. You can't use that as an excuse anymore. You don't have to be good at it. So you just don't give a star for anything if you feel like, I'm not good at anything. Furthermore, I want to invite you to flip that resistance into your superpower. You would be an ideal coach for people who feel they're not good at anything. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. So you see how I did that, how your mess is your magic. Just something to think about, okay? You would serve humanity by sorting out a mindset, a structure, and a tactic for people to get over their self-limitation feeling that they're not good at anything. That would be a huge successful program that you would not only heal yourself with, but you would heal the world. Again, it's a fractal. It's a fractal. So let's see. Good. Some of these are finally coming in. It's taken a while to catch up. Rebecca, the top ones for her: energy medicine, healing illness, and energetic clearing of land and homes. Awesome. Karen, assisting people with choices and timing of their fur babies' transitions and the animals' wants and messages of love. Ooh, love that, Karen. Top one is helping people to accept. This is Teresa. My top one is helping people to accept LGBTQ loved one who, when it conflicts with their religious beliefs and perspectives. Woo, that's specific. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we're gonna get into an obstacle here that we can overcome together in a second based on that. Corinne, helping others heal from the past, healing people move forward. Now these are coming up. Sorry if I'm not mentioning your name. Efrat, empowering people to release anxiety, stress and depression. Courtney, it's going by. Sorry, I can't read all of them, but you know, we're gonna have this ongoing database and list, and after the live ends, I will be replying to some of you to help as I can to solidify this. Now, I want to mention, let's see, yeah, so you need to hone in on just one. Okay, you've got to start somewhere to launch one portal product. So if you have 3 or 4, how can you bring in another ranking to determine the winner? And the way to do that is the next step, which we're going to do now. So choose one, and if you can't choose one, choose the one that this step will be the easiest to accomplish. I hope that makes sense. And what I want you to do is, this is called the fractal information technique. It's the zoom in to zoom out, zoom in to zoom out. I want you to think about someone, an identity. This is your ideal client, okay? Your ideal client, the person who's going to want this information. And I'm going to give you a minute. And guys, you can do this again later for the other topics that you're curious about. Just choose one for now, okay? And I want you to think about the person who would want that information the most. And we're going to spend a couple minutes writing out what they would want to know about that topic. Okay? So what we're doing right now is writing out things that people would want to know who would be interested in that topic. You can do this in 2 ways: by thinking about the actual topic or thinking about your ideal client's needs. Both are just as effective. Sometimes your ideal client's needs is more effective. But for example, connecting to nature for self and natural healing. Marsha, just as an example. Writing out now what you would need to know about that. Or someone who, your ideal client, what would they want to know about that? Okay, it's usually going to involve those 3 spokes in some way of mindset, right? Like the education, the learning aspect. What specifically would they want to know? Strategies, if you have some strategies. Some of you do, some of you don't. We'll build those in. And tactics, the application. Like, what are they going to actually do with that information? So take a few more minutes. Your top topic, or one you choose. What does this person who would love this topic want to know about it? What are they going through? What are their pain points? Just make a list. You know, for Efrat, empowering people to release anxiety, stress, and depression. What would people who have anxiety, stress, and depression want? Well, what would they want? They want freedom. They want relief. They want peace. So she'd be writing down all of these key phrases and things that they want solved in their life, feeling helpless, feeling powerless. They want to know that they have a choice. They want, write it out. Also, things within the subject that people would want to know about. It doesn't have to be their pain point. It's just like, what would they want to know about it, right? If you're talking about feng shui, they would want to know about the earth, wind, fire, the doshas, and they would want to know about the elements, and they would want to know the Bagua map, right? Crystals, that people want to know which crystals are used for what. They want to know how to put information in crystals to use them as wrappers. They want to know how to heal others with it, right? So this is what I'm talking about. We're building out the spokes of a portal product. So take a few more minutes while I be quiet and let you ponder the elements within this portal product. And again, you don't have to have the answers. So we're not writing out what you know about. We're writing what people want to know about it, or what you think people would want to know. And if you don't know anything about it yet, you simply write out, what do you want to know about it? Right? So this can just be you going, I'm curious about astrology. What am I curious about? Right? Okay. You got the point. I'll give you a few more minutes to do this. Yes, and those of you who still have 3 to 4 to 5 top runners, you can start with one portal product and then go to the others. And oftentimes they'll weave together in mysterious ways where you're going to have a big aha about one of the things you're considering and how it answers or comes into tandem with the other. And when you start adding those components, that's when you come up with really innovative ways to address whatever it is that you're solving. It's interesting how that works. For example, I channel codes and I do grid work, and I'm also curious about qigong, right? And movement of your qi through motion, right? And so naturally, I was like curious about that and was wondering, oh, there's our hummingbird, guys. There's a hummingbird right outside the window. Green, blue, very cute. Having the nectar from my fire bush. Sweetie pie. Okay, but anyway, through that playful curiosity of both of those things, and what I already know and do and love that works, and what I want to know, they merged, and I'm actually considering and want to do so another whole portal product, which is using the codes in tandem with qigong to move the energy flow to activate deeper vortexes of flow within your blueprint. Now it's a specific niche, that's a specific niche, but when we zoom out, which I'm going to teach you in a few minutes, we can begin to fractalize it out to people who need it. And so we're ahead of ourselves, but we'll get there in just a second. All right, so good. Now we have this beautiful list of things that you may want to include in your portal product for the problem that you solve, the topic that you want to give people. And the next thing I want to do is help you to understand the dose process, okay? Because as we're building your portal product, you really want to make sure that you have what I call DOSE. And this is just going to ensure that they digest the information in a complete way, in a whole way. And so the first thing is it needs to be something that they desire. So again, within the topic that you're creating for your portal product, they're going to want to desire it. So include what they're going to desire. It seems obvious, but a lot of people don't deliver that. So put yourself in the shoes of those you serve and the problem you solve. And what do they want? And you need to address that. O is obstacles, okay? They're going to have an obstacle that they came to you to solve, all right? In some way. And I'm just trying to find, here we go. So discovery, they want to discover something, and it has to be aligned with their desire to do so. You have to be the urgent solution to the problem that they have. So what do they want, right? Where are they? And so the O, which is obstacle, is a really amazing framer. Putting yourself in their shoes and giving them what they want. Now, as teachers, we want to give them what we think they want over here, because you know it. You know what they need. But we actually have to give them what they are asking for first. Let me explain how that works. If I am a emotion code practitioner, which I am, and I go out and I say, who wants to release their trapped emotions? And I start talking about energy fields and all of this stuff, they won't hear me at all unless they're also emotion code practitioners. This is why you see little units of practitioners populating various social medias together, because they're all speaking to each other, but they're not reaching their clients because their clients don't know they need it. So this is part of the process with your portal product, is reaching the person where they are, not where you want them to be, because you're the expert. You already have the information. Teaching them why they need it is giving your magic. That's the actual transformation. You don't want to do that. Instead, you need to dose it to those who need it in a way that they can hear it. So here's what I want you to do. Within that list of what it is that people would want to know, who would want to know that? Okay, we need to start getting specific into the avatar of our ideal client. I'll frame it again for you. If you're an emotion code practitioner, which segment of ideal client are you going to service first? Is it going to be people who are depressed? And if so, what are people who are depressed looking for? And how can your product give them what they need? Is it going to be, people who have gone through trauma? Are you going to dedicate it to those people? And if so, what would they need? That looks very different than the other need, right? So this is taking the time to micro niche. Now that you know the general topic, who it's for, and the problem it solves, you have to come in further into the fabric of what it is they desire and meet them where they are and give them what they want. This is how your product will eventually blossom into a deeper and deeper experience with you. So DOSE, you've got to deliver their desire, like what do they want, what are they interested in, what do they want to discover, address their obstacles, the pain they're going through, so that you can resolve it, okay? It has to be simple. That's the third DOS. It has to be simple, okay? Very simple. If it's confusing for them, they will freeze and it won't work. So you've got to microdose it. This is where you really got to understand that complexity is not value. As experts, we want to give them everything, all of it, but that's overwhelming. This is why I'm microdosing this out for us. We've gone through it step by step by step, little teeny pieces that add up to something profound. but I didn't just spew it out all at once, right? We've gone through little steps, little baby steps. So it has to be delivered simplistically. And it also has to provide excitement. People will want to do it, right? It's exciting for them. It's not too overwhelming. It's not confusing. If it's confusing and there's too much, people shut down. They retreat, they stop, they don't move forward. And that doesn't serve those you serve, because you want results. You want their transformation. And so you've got to microdose your magic. You've got to zoom in on the pain and their desire and what they want, and then you've got to zoom out to give it to them in small doses of information that are going to support them in their transformation. So that's what I want to do next, is give you a few minutes to think about just 6 doses, given who you serve, the problem you solve, what they would be looking for, what their desires are, what their obstacles are, what they'd be excited about, and we're simplifying. So I'm going to challenge you from your list, within your list. You see how it's a fractal? I'm going to challenge you to now list just 6. Hey Pam, nice to see you. You may want to get this in replay if you're just joining us, or welcome back if you're coming back. Just 6. And guys, the only reason why I chose 6 is because the crop circle vision, which led to this microdose your magic, was a circle, a topic with 6 spokes, and every single spoke had 6 spokes, and it was a fractal, okay? Not sure the significance of the 6 components, but I think it has something to do with people's bandwidth of understanding, and if it's too much, they get overwhelmed, and if it's too little, they don't see the value in it. So 6 spokes. So I'm going to go ahead and do the timer again, and we are going to take a stab at 6 things that you would provide them in your portal product. Okay, we're getting specific. And again, the parameter is it has to frame their desire or their wanting to discover what it is you have. It has to address an obstacle in some way. It has to be simple and keep them engaged, so they're excited to learn more and it's not too overwhelming. And so zoom out and think through 6 basic tiers that you could include information about in your portal product for this person, okay? And the more specific you can get, the better in terms of who it's for, right? So we'll just leave you with that. And if you have questions, type them out. But here is the timer going. Let's try and narrow it down to just 6 things that you're going to deliver inside of your portal product. And guys, you don't have to have the answers. It can be just the framework, right? Teachers don't always have the answers. They have the questions for people to go solve. So don't let that, oh, I don't know, I don't have the answers. The information is the magic, okay? You're framing it. You're giving them wisdom, information that addresses their urgent issue or gives them their desire, okay? So go ahead and 6 spokes to your program that we're fleshing out now. I'm just gonna really get in touch with your ideal client's pain. You know, what do they want solving, right? And then give them that. Give them the answer. This is where having gone through it yourself comes into play, because you're like, oh man, I know how I was feeling as a single mom, you know, out of work, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever your story, whatever your mess was, the solutions that you found were based on your experience. And so now you can distill what you found to work for whatever you're solving in that. We are framers. We are framing support. All right. So I hope that, well, we'll give you one more minute. I'm sorry. I need to just let you work. I like to move ahead so quickly. I'll see if anyone's saying anything in the... Yes, simplicity is value, Pat. Agreed. So guys, keep working through your spokes, your facets to the fractal of what you provide. I want to speak directly to Teresa because your niche, you got to make sure that you got to think about who's buying this program. You said who wants to know would be parents, grandparents, siblings. They don't want to know about, I think it's lesbian, gay, bi, transgendered, and I'm so sorry I forgot what the Q is. But either way, I get the gist of what that is. And so you're saying that those people would want to know about it? They don't want to know about it. The people who want to be understood are the ones that want to know, how do I reach these people so that they accept me? I think that's the topic that you're going after. Accepting the unacceptable. What belief do you hold that makes your loved one's lifestyle unacceptable? Okay, so here's the thing. People are going to have to want the transformation you're providing them for it to be valuable. I know that sounds obvious, but the parents, the grandparents, the siblings that are judging and that aren't accepting this person, they are not your clients. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't want to know it because that's why they're judgy. They don't want to know. They're not going to buy your course because they think it's unacceptable. And so while it's valuable and while you know that they need that, they don't know they need that. They don't know they need that, and they don't want it because they're unaccepting, okay? So this sort of niche does not work well because it's upstream, because you got to meet them where they are, not where you want them to be. So your ideal client would be empowering the LGBTQ people with the tools they need to be able to accept the judgment, to be able to be okay within themselves and not require the external support they think that they need in order to lead a happy life. That's a niche. That is if you can service those people and give them transformation from the inside out to where they know that it's okay and that they are all good with themselves and that they don't need external approval, the people around them will shift due to that shifting, okay? So again, so your 6 is, what belief do you hold that makes your loved one's lifestyle unacceptable? Again, they're not going to take your program because they're the ones who are judging and they aren't ready to go, ooh, I have beliefs that are limiting and that are causing my loved one pain. They don't know that. But you can use that topic within teaching those people who are LGBTQ, what limiting beliefs do I hold that makes me triggered by their lack of support? Okay? So your topics are good. Is it your belief or does it belong to someone else? Ask them that, yes. What other beliefs? So these are good. So you've got it, but your target market, your ideal client is not those that are judging because they don't know what they don't know and they don't want it. It is those that it's affecting, and it's helping them to rise into their confidence and sovereignty and love themselves unconditionally to transform the external world. That's the path probably for you. I hope that makes sense. Guys, I was speaking specifically to Teresa. She wanted to build a program for grandparents, parents, siblings, etc., who were judging or not accepting their lesbian, gay, bi, transgendered, etc. And I was saying that's upstream marketing. People don't know what they don't know, and they don't want to know it. And so you have to really transform where your magic will work, which is getting that person, the LGB. Pat, you got it. Good. Yes. But Teresa, you're on the right path because you do have a potent list of the things that they will need to know in order to be okay within themselves so that they can transform the world from the inside out and not have to be looking for that external validation or trying to convince someone external to them to change, right? That never works. As a coach, you are a transformation catalyst. You can't do it for them. They gotta want to do it themselves. And so when you're seeking to transform people that don't know they need you, that's the definition of upstream marketing, and you will not get one client. But you will get a lot of clients who need to understand the information you're giving them in order to transform and actually not care about the external judgment. And in doing so, those triggers will be resolved, and that mirror of unacceptable will disappear. It will literally go away as they rise into their own sovereign power and resonance. Okay. Let's move on because we do only have about 17 more minutes. I know time flies when you're having fun. This next one you can come back to. I will frame it for you. And you can also get up and stretch and go to the bathroom if you need to for a few seconds before we wrap up. But to tie this all together, let's talk about your portal promise. So you have your idea, right, of your portal product. You have your basic spokes. These are the micro doses of what you're going to deliver within this low-priced, high-valued, digital, on-demand package of magic that provides a discovery, provides a solution to obstacles or a framing of what they need to ask themselves. It provides simplicity for them to understand. They're going to get this, and excitement. It builds excitement for them to say, I can do this, because it's microdosed, it's zoomed out, it's not overwhelming. And again, the 3 tiers, you're going to be providing within your portal product the mindset, the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, the strategies, right? So this is where you give them a worksheet that highlights whatever you just taught them. And the tactics. This is real world coping mechanisms of the information to actually instill, right, thinking, doing, being, to make use of the information that you have so that it will actually transform their life. Now, one thing I want to tell you about this is it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be new information. It doesn't have to be never before known. You can go find the answers by asking questions. What is it I'm solving, and who has solutions? And then take that information and make it your own. Of course, you're not going to copyright anything, but guys, it's all here. All the answers are already here, right? It's the fractal information. every piece of information has the whole. So it's just arranging that information in a way that services those you serve and addresses the problems that they have in a microdosed way, to where they go, wow, she gets me. She knows what I'm going through. And here's an answer to it. So what I want you to do for the next couple minutes is craft your portal promise. And I'm going to put the framework out here for you. It's very easy. It is, who needs it, right? Who is this for, specifically? Okay, you have a topic, but is it for, who within that topic is it for? For example, anahata codes. It can be for someone who has health issues, someone who has confidence issues, someone who wants to learn how to empower themselves to tap into energy. It could be for people who are trying to study better. I mean, literally, I could zoom into any aspect of what the codes provide, but the key is finding one type of person that it's for, okay? So who would want what I have? And which person are you going to dish it up to first? That's what I want you to start thinking about. It's your portal promise. It's the type of person you support to do what? What is the specific thing that you're helping them with? What time frame will you do it? Is it an hour, 2 hours, a week? People want to know the time frame that this portal product delivers the answers. And they want to know the outcome. So I'm going to paste this framework for your portal promise, and I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes to think it through. And you want to zoom in on who would have a need for what I have to offer, what can they expect to receive, what time frame can they expect to receive it in, and for what reason. So for me, my portal promise is I empower heartpreneurs to discover, develop, and deploy their magic in as little as 1 week, so that they can make a difference doing what they love. So that's my promise, my portal promise. And so your portal promise is, I support type of person to do what within the specific time frame, so that they can outcome. Okay, this is going to help you really fine-tune the facets of your portal product when you answer, what does it promise to do? And so let me see if I can type this comment out. I support type of person to do what in what specific time frame, so that they outcome. Okay, that's your portal promise. And if you're clear on that portal promise, you're going to be able to provide 6 spokes that really nurture and transform your ideal client, so that they find what it is you have to offer compelling, and they purchase it, right? It's a portal product. It's got to be low priced. It's going to have high value based on what you're promising. And it's going to be an impulse buy. They're going to go, wow, she or he gets me, and I'm going to try it. It's $20 or it's $30. Now I want to talk price range while you're doing your portal promise. I would not price your portal product more than $99. Okay, somewhere between $20 and $99. That's it. Okay. My portal product, which is Discover Your Magic, is $37. And there's 5 doses. And so I want to talk to you about that real quick. If this information is like amazing for you and you're like, wow, this is so much clarity, And no wonder people couldn't hear me, because I was trying to educate them on what they don't know they need. And, you know, wow, I didn't realize I had so many interests and information and ways that I could package into a portal product. And holy cow, this program would be so valuable for these people. If you want all of the worksheets, the guides, the processes, and the doses in very small nuggets, you may want to purchase my portal product, which is called Discover Your Magic. I'm going to put the link here. It's actually at microdoseyourmagic.com, microdoseyourmagic.com. Okay, that's the $37 program. Okay, and it's basically what we did today, but with all the worksheets and handouts, and it's spliced up into small doses so that it's no more than 15 to 20 minutes per dose. So you can spread it out over 5 days and just do 20 minutes and the worksheet, 20 minutes and the worksheet. And that's the other thing I want to mention before we end here in about 9-10 minutes, is that you can take the frameworks that I've given you and use that in your portal product. So you can take the fact that I have 5 topics, and that each topic has a handout, and that each topic is no more than 15 to 20 minutes. Do you start to see what your portal product can be? And so let's see if anyone, thank you, Pat. I'm reading your portal promise now. I support bereaved people to come to terms with their loss in 5 days of 15 minutes to feel peace and relief. And so, Pat, that is so beautiful. I would say with that type of transformation, you don't want to say X amount of days to them. You may know that it will take five days, and each day would be 15 minutes. But for them, you want to say, I support bereaved people to come to terms with their loss quickly, right? And to feel peace and relief. Awesome. Because I feel like given the topic, if you said in 5 days, they'd be like, what? That's sort of disrespectful to my, to my process, to my person. And so while you know it'll only take 5 days, they may not want to know that right away. So always think about what they want versus where you know that they're going. But I love that. That's a really good portal promise. Again, I put it in the notes. You support type of person to do what, within what specific time frame, so that they what? What's the end result? And as long as you weave in all facets of your microdosed program to answer each spoke, you're going to have a very compelling program. And again, you can use the structure I do, which is 15 to 20 minutes per facet, very small nuggets of information, a handout, right? This is tactic, strategy, and mindset. And I have a summary as well that I chose to do for my Discover Your Magic. And it works really well. You're welcome, Pat. Yep, good. I'm glad you understand that. So good. Let me just have another drink. About the 2-hour mark, my voice starts going, talk. All right, hold on here. So again, this 2-hour workshop will be available for 24 to 48 hours. Haven't decided, 1 to 2 days. And then I'm pulling it down, okay? If you'd like to have this information forever, go ahead and join the Discover Your Magic program for $37. You'll have the member center forever. You'll also have the framework of how I set up my portal product. So you can go, oh, look, I see how she did that. Now, that's just one element of it. You discover what it is you have to give and who it's for, and give them microdosed elements of it. But you also need to have a plan where to take them after that. Okay, so that's what I want to talk to you for 5 more minutes about before we end today, and give you the opportunity to apply for my program, which is the next portion. You've discovered your magic, right? And you know the framework for this portal product. But you need to know then how to do it, actually set it up physically. And you probably aren't, up to speed with a landing page and how to set that up and get a working form of payment transaction set up, all of that. If you do know how to do that, awesome, go do that. If you need help with setting it up and understanding, the types of deliverables within your portal product that you want to give and how to arrange it and give it to them and how to market it, you're going to want to know about the develop and deploy your magic program, which I have. I'm going to put the link to the application in the chat. In fact, I got to log back in. I was logged out of my system. And let me just chat through what it is. So the develop and deploy your magic answers the need for a solid plan. If you don't know how to do any of this, you can think about it all day long, but when it comes to actually setting it up and doing it and delivering it, you're going to freeze because you've never done it before. So I know how to do it, I've been through it, and I'm going to help you to strategize and execute. And there's really only 4 ingredients that you need to include in your magic when you're giving people your portal product. I will teach you that. I'm also going to teach you the Bliss Biz blueprint from start to finish, okay? This is not only how to come up with the portal product, it's how to actually set it up. I do screen shares and say, go here, click here, do this, do that, so that you can make a beeline straight to it. You don't need to figure this all out on your own, because when you're done with this, you may say, wow, I have this amazing program that people would need, that people would buy, but I just don't know how to get it all done. That's how to get it all done, is this program. So the tactics. I'm also going to teach you how to simultaneously build out your second and third tiered programs, right? Because your portal product is just the gateway. It's just the entry point into your magic. Once there, what do you want them to do? And that is where your mini dose and your mega dose programs come into play, okay? This is the funnel process from impulse buy into large program with you. And so I'm going to teach you how to do all of that as well. We only have a few more minutes. What I want to do is give you the link to the application process, okay? So you'll click on the link. It will just be a quick form that you will put in your name and your email address, and you will download the application. Now, whether or not you apply or not, I suggest everyone listening to this does so, because these are questions that are going to clarify what you came here to do, where you're at now, where you want to go, so that you can vision a path to it. You have to know where you want to go to get there. And you also have to know where you're at. So everyone who's ever filled out the application has said, holy cow, thank you for these clarifying questions. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, is give you the link to apply. Now, if you do end up applying and you send in your application to me, I am looking for just a very small 15 students. That's it. Okay. If you are accepted into the program, meaning I think I can help you and that you're ready to actually birth your magic, meaning that you want to, not that you understand how to, that's the part that I'm going to teach you. But if you want to do it, then I will invite you to a 44-minute discovery session with me. I'm just copying and pasting the link now, and I will explain the program to you, and we will get to know your needs together and if the program is something that is going to get you to where you want to go. Because if I feel like what I have to offer you isn't going to get you where you want to go, I will not even invite you into the program, right? You're not my ideal client, and that's okay. So the application to develop and deploy your magic is, oh, the other one went through too. Well, it's in there twice. So there it is. It's already 2 o'clock. I can't believe it. I hope that this has been helpful for you to understand the ways you cultivate your magic, who it's for, the reasons why they couldn't hear you before, how to resolve that by speaking directly to their needs in a microdosed way that you can set up. Again, go to microdoseyourmagic.com for the $37 portal product with all of the goodies and the step-by-step that we just went through in small mini doses. And I do hope that you download the application to develop and deploy. It's happening now. It's closing soon. We are going mid-September, okay? So please apply. It's first come, first serve. If I read your application and I think, yeah, this is going to be a really good fit, I'll set up a 44-minute discovery session with you to talk through the program and to really hone in on your needs with your Bliss Biz, where you're headed, where you want to go, and I'll explain the program to you. So there you go. Pat, you're welcome, honey. Good. I'm so glad, Teresa, that this was good for you. And that's it. I need to honor your time. It's 2 hours on the nose. This will be available in replay for 24 to 48 hours. Go back, listen again, digest, add comments, and love you guys so much. Thanks for joining me. God bless you on your path.